The key to the forest, eh?
Yeah, well, this is our little gate up here in this end. We got a bigger gate down there. I started this in 2015, so we're 4 years into it now. Um, every year I keep working my tush off, adding more. I replaced about a dozen trees this year. Well, I added some. We had some die, and um, then uh, it's we got a lot of culture beds, which I'll show you.
Oh, say that word again, please.
Hugel, Hugul,
Okay.
Kultur. That's Sepp Holzer over in Austria developed that system where you build mounds and you have woody biomass in it, and then you put your topsoil on it, and then that biomass breaks down and it helps act like a sponge to retain moisture, also nutrients. Guess we can start up at this end. I have a little tiny pond. These elderberries right here, they were little tiny stalks when I first planted them, and they've got so big now. I have 3 circle walkways. I'm gonna have to prune them back after this crop, but you can see it's crazy how many elderberries we got growing on these things this year. Elderberries have tremendous health benefits. You just look it up on the internet. A lot of guy works for me for years. That's what he uses for colds, about everything. It's almost like a snake oil. Everything it ails you, well, elderberries will take care of it, but this is the way he believes.
I'll be doggone.
Then we built, this is all permanent stuff, perennial stuff here too. Honeyberries. I was so dumb, I didn't even know how to harvest honeyberries. You have to lift them up, the bushes, and they're all underneath. You can't see them from the top.
Okay.
And so, anyway, I can show you one of the culture beds over here. I've tried everything in the world for years here now, trying to fight weeds. One year I put down plastic, and then last year we put down carpet, and and amazingly all these weeds were growing through the carpet too, but it's easier to pull. But now that looked too unnatural, so with Starr's little log business, we peel logs, hand peel logs and ship them, and so these are all log peelings that we put down this year, so which is great. And you can look back down through there, you can see where we didn't have enough. I used 2 years of log peelings. We still got a bunch more to put down.
I see.
We lost a lot of stuff in here a few weeks ago. I left the gate open and the deer got in and down on that end wiped out a bunch of stuff.
I notice you do have a healthy deer population around here.
Oh yeah. Now I'll show you over here. I left the end of this culture bed open so people could see. But here you can see, like there's a big log right there. And I dug down a foot into the ground and started filling it with logs. And then these big ones down there, then I went to smaller and smaller, and it gets up to little tiny branches up there, and we just fill in topsoil, and then I use pine bark compost and also manure compost mixed in, and so that's, after a while you don't have to irrigate anymore. I've switched over. I had to start with sprinkler irrigation to begin with, but now everything is this whole area is under drip irrigation.
And when you say drip irrigation, are you talking about like rainfall?
No, see this line here going There's little
Oh.
grouper there,
Okay.
and it just winds around the plants. This is just a bunch of tomato plants, and then berries here. I never can remember what all kinds of. We must have 24 different kinds of berries. Some of them I have to wait till they produce and ask somebody else what kind of berry they are.
What was this?
But this is interesting. This is the first time for fruiting for this one. I don't know what it's going to be. Some of them I still got the tag on. Oh, that's a chokeberry. We got several varieties of chokeberries. These are really cool. These are sea berries. They call them the orange juice of the north. But I guess in northern regions they have big clusters of orange colored berries, and that's what they use for their making their orange juice.
So it's like a vitamin C berry, huh?
Yeah, they're and then we've got some of this. This is called a sand cherry. I've got several of these. And what I'm doing, I haven't got it complete on this end, but doing a plant guild. Now see, all the plants have one of or more, several plant attributes, like a nitrogen fixer or a dynamic accumulator, meaning it pulls up minerals out of the soil to make them available, and mulch maker and insectary and a couple of others. Well, what you try to do is put one of each one of those attribute plants grouped together. Then they all benefit. You don't ever deplete the soil. You're actually building soil nutrients while you're doing it.
Awesome.
So there's just, but all of these are hugelkultur beds. Everywhere you see circling rocks. Now, I had this is a cherry tree here that I had this in here before we started building the food forest. There was about 3 or 4 trees and this was just, rocky pasture when we started. We just picked strawberries again yesterday. We thought they'd quit for the season. This one, and this one are all strawberries, and that's another cherry tree. And I don't know what you want for detail.
Well, all of this is somewhere south of Hamilton, Montana, and you and Starr have a prepper business where you provide online at your online store survival stuff, prepping stuff.
Yeah.
People can go and buy. Like I like to buy your organic honey.
Yeah.
So what we needed to do really was just see the different variety of what you've got growing here and hear a little bit about you and why you're doing this. But the main point would be you are teaching other people the value in this approach to prepping. Growing your own food is a biggie, right?
Yeah. Well, when I grew up in Texas, we didn't call that prepping, never heard of it. It was just, country folk, farmers and ranchers. You did all that stuff just to survive and live in hard times, and so I'm basically just trying to teach people homestead skills from our grandparents.
Yeah,
it's really not about trying to be prepared for some apocalypse or something.
But, I just visited a woman in Belgrade who had, on her counter, she had stacked up 24 quart jars of canned tomatoes.
Yeah.
And they just were out of the pressure cooker. And she wasn't trying to prep or anything. She just grew up in Montana knowing you raise it, whether it's food of animal type or vegetable type. Everybody was raising their food. And I just think it's wonderful tradition, and it's absolutely a delight to know you and Starr. Well, you're sharing how to do this with your neighbors. And I know you have monthly meetings, and people can ask questions or they can get their hands dirty in the dirt, learn about everything. So it's just wonderful, and I wanted to come down here and make a little video record of your food forest, and wish you really good luck. And
You can see what the deer do when they get in, why you have to fence out everything. See how they got to this cherry tree here eating all that out, and then the strawberries down here where they ate them all off, and a lot of the tomatoes, everything down there. Boy, they had a feast when they got in here. But fortunately, the way I look at it, I'm not going to complain. I told a friend the other day, they proved to me that they're Democrats. Did you know that deer are Democrats?
I didn't know that.
Well, see, the Creator, God gives all the animals everything they need to eat in nature. All they have to do is work a little bit. But I leave the gate open, and they say, we don't want to go work. We want to get it free from somebody else who produced
Who
it.
did the work.
And yeah, that did. So we'll just take from somebody who did the work, and we'll just eat theirs.
Well, that's a good observation, my friend.
Anyway, we got